Just a reminder, dear viewers. If you're enjoying AnimeKouhai videos, the creator would really appreciate it if you donated to her Patreon page to support her work. She puts a lot of thought, time, and effort into creating Tensura videos, and it's difficult for artists like her to continue putting out content without any support from amazing viewers like you. Check it out if you get a chance.
They needed to get at least a little far in. They could always die to be transported back, and there was an SOS feature in their bracelets as well, which treated the wearer as dead and let them escape at any time. The dryads could also come to their rescue, and there was one accompanying each party, ready to promptly bring them back to the surface. So I really wanted them to be serious about plumbing this labyrinth, but Basone was too busy getting irritated at his panicky party members.
What are you people? Idiots? I've never heard of such an enormous maze before. That demon lord's just feeding us a tall tale. He's using magic or something to disorient us.
Oh, he is?
You've convinced me, Ba-san.
Yeah, the magic heal concentration around here is pretty high. You're probably right. This must be illusory magic or the like.
You said it, Gomez. We've been following the right-hand rule religiously so far. Worst case scenario, we'll just wind up back where we came.
Oh dear, labyrinth difficulty was the least of their concerns. They might have thought they were thinking things through, but they sure weren't. I wouldn't be so harsh on them if they were taking notes on paper. But no way could they memorize a path through all these similar-looking corridors, packed with forks, four-way intersections, and dead ends. Between the uniform decor and the twistiness of the paths, simply going right at every opportunity wasn't going to get you anyplace. These challengers were just way too idiotic. Couldn't count on them for too much, I guess. But then Basone's party disappeared. Or, to be more exact, they fell down to the next level.
Whoa, was that a trapdoor?
I was as quizzical as Soka. Did we set up any trapdoors on the first level?
Ramirez?
Yes? How can I help you?
When I set up this floor, I really don't think I installed anything like that. You haven't been messing around with my design, have you?
I tried to keep a smile on my face, so as not to scare Ramirez. That being said, I still found it prudent to grab her to keep her from flying away.
Well, actually,
she replied with a forced smile.
We wanted to make the labyrinth a more complete creation, so?
Upon further interrogation, Ramirez admitted to placing a fairly decent number of trapdoors around. I had to chew her out for this. A floor this large doesn't need trapdoors, all right? The idea was to tire adventurers out and sap their endurance, but these kinds of traps had the opposite effect, essentially serving as time-saving shortcuts. Traps are only traps, after all, if their effect matches your intended purpose.
But, I mean, you had a lot more fiendish trapdoors in the lower levels, didn't you? So I thought, perhaps you forgot to install some higher up. I just did it out of kindness, you see?
I didn't need that type of kindness. Sure, if they wanted to make this into a punishing gauntlet, I could get that. If I left everything in the hands of Ramirez, Veldora, and Milam, they'd litter the whole labyrinth with insane traps like that. But I didn't want that at the very start. That was the whole reason I worked on the topmost floors myself. Quickly, I turned my attention to the other parties. Ellen's group was theoretically led by Kabul, but Ellen herself had fully taken over the leader role. On the whole, they had no sense of direction at all, so I thought beating the first floor could prove difficult for them, and I was half right. The group didn't run into any traps, at least, as they carefully advanced. Amazingly, they were even writing down notes as they went, following the textbook method of dungeon conquering.
Oh, Ellen's party is sure taking this seriously. They didn't hit any trapdoors, and they're dodging the traps I set up as well. And they already looted 3 treasure chests? They're having a pretty smooth time so far.
What's so funny? Why are they having such a smooth time of it? And something about Ramirez hiding her reaction with a laugh rubbed me the wrong way.
Ramirez?
Yes? What is it?
I trust in you, okay? I know you wouldn't hide anything from me.
Of course not, Rimuru.
So let me ask. Did you do something to Ellen's group?
Nothing looked amiss on screen, but they were performing a little too well. As one would expect in a dungeon, many of the treasure chests throughout contained nothing of value, but Ellen's party picked 3 chests in a row with killer loot. It stank of cheating.
Well, actually.
Not that again.
What did you do?
Well, Ellen and her group gave me a nice little gift, so we really hit it off, you could say. So then.
The more I heard, the worse my headache got. In the midst of labyrinth construction, Ellen had given Ramirez a large number of cakes. These were baked by Mr. Yoshida, so I'm sure they were all delicious. Ellen had made similar overtures to the dryads as well, and bit by bit, she had gleaned information from them about the first floor. Ramirez realized this after a while, but as she put it, the magic of those pastries was simply irresistible.
I mean, what could I do? I didn't see it as a problem. And Master Veldora and Milam didn't either.
Now she was firing back at me, trying to portray her actions as totally justifiable. But it was straight up bribery. I was exasperated at how quickly corruption had become an issue down there. Still, no need to catastrophize about it. I had adjusted the labyrinth today to skew easier difficulty-wise. Plus, only the first floor had been exposed to her. The treasure chests with the real top-shelf prizes weren't on that level.
Cable's party is doing a good job landing treasure, isn't it?
That it is.
Mjolmile told Soka, joining her in the announcer's role.
Sir Rimuru mentioned that chests can sometimes be found in small side rooms and the like, but they need to watch for traps as well.
Good point. Do you think there are neat items in them?
There's some really good stuff in the lower levels, I would imagine. And speaking of which, I understand there are 3 types of treasure chests in all: gold, silver, and bronze. It seems only the bronze chests run the chance of being booby-trapped.
These 3 chest types contained different sets of items. Floor 1 contained nothing but bronze chests. Silver chests could contain items up to the special level of rarity, but most of them were seeded with potions, silver coins, and other useful stuff. This included some of the lesser quality swords forged by Karabe, only ranking a normal in quality. Overall, nothing that would really cost us much if someone was gunning for them.
But it's the gold chest you really want, I suppose.
Soka said.
Quite so.
Agreed Mjolmile, reading from some notes I'd given him earlier.
And apparently, those only show up on floor numbers that are a multiple of 10, the boss chambers, in other words.
What do you mean by that?
Well, as all of you know, Sir Bovix has been appointed the guardian of floor 50. In much the same way, we have other guardians, or boss monsters, positioned in chambers in front of the exit stairway in floors 40, 30, 20, and 10. The gold chests are only for those adventurers who can defeat such formidable foes, and they could even contain rare-level weapons and armor.
This was meant to be an advertising event, so I didn't want opportunities like this one to go to waste. The script here was admittedly kind of trite, like a late-night infomercial, appealing to people's greed with such refreshing alacrity that I was almost ashamed to be one of the writers. But it worked like a charm. The mention of rare weapons sent a clamor across the audience.
I imagine most people here got to see Bovix's strength for themselves. He is the kind of powerhouse challengers have waiting for them in here, so if anyone thinks they've got the muscle for it, I'd love to see them challenge this labyrinth.
That's right, and one more thing. As you can see on this screen, each floor is very large in size. I imagine you'd need to clear out several days if you wanted to fully conquer the dungeon, huh?
That was our basic setup, Soka asking leading questions, Mjolmile answering them. The classic play-by-play and color commentary setup, and they were doing pretty well as partners. Like I said before, floor 1 had only bronze chests.
You didn't mess around with the contents of the chests, did you?
I asked Ramirez.
All good there.
Ah, all right. I didn't appreciate Ellen gaming the system like this, but her party was advancing the right way, and it made for perfect advertising. I suppose she earned whatever she picked up down there today. Giving her a map and list of trap locations was a blatant rule violation, but I'd overlook it this time. So I knew Ellen's party was safe. What about Masayuki, whom I'd given my own set of hints?
And look at this. They've already made their way to floor 4. What speed? We're definitely seeing light speed at their quickest today, folks.
Why, man, it hasn't even been 30 minutes since we began. Why was he already down to the 4th level? Masayuki's party had hit virtually every trapdoor so far, as if aiming for them, which gave them a head start to the lower levels. And the crowd. Masayuki! Masayuki! I didn't even need to look at them, really. Even audience members who laughed at Bisson blundering into a trapdoor sang Masayuki's praises whenever he found one. It was incredibly unfair, but that was just Masayuki's power doing its thing. He was probably resenting me right now, given that the info I'd leaked to him was less than fully reliable. Sorry, man. It wasn't my fault, not that that was an excuse. By floor 4, they'd start to see monsters patrolling the corridors. I was sure my map wasn't looking too reliable at this point, what with those fearsome trapdoors at random locations, but I still prayed they'd do their best with the situation. That just left Gaia, and he was using his physical gifts to rush through the labyrinth, Delta flying at full speed to keep up. Being a demi-spiritual being, Delta could teleport herself using whatever nearby plant life there was, but doing that would cut off the video she was telecasting, so she was frantically chasing after Gaia instead, I suppose. It was an impressive effort, and I was glad to see her so devoted to her post. Gaia, of course, paid her no mind, proceeding along at his own pace. Judging by how he wasn't getting lost at all on his way to the stairways, I was guessing he had some kind of magical positioning system activated.
Understood. This is the elemental magic spell automap.
Aha. You wouldn't need a map at all, then, huh? This magic flashed pinpoint positional data into your brain, sort of like what the Great Sage used to provide me. If Gaia was keeping it constantly activated, he must have been well versed in magic, too, not just swords. Pretty gifted in both as well, I'd say. Upon reaching out to Fuse, I learned that Gaia was indeed an A-ranked adventurer, a very rare breed. Based on his performance, I'd call that more than fair. He was on floor 2 right now but would be reaching the next stairway down shortly. If he kept up this pace, he should make it to floor 5 in the 2 hours or so remaining. This was much faster than I envisioned. I didn't see this speed coming at all. But something caught my attention. There was something sparkling within Gaia's eyes, something unusual. His lips were twisted downward, his eyes bloodshot, and even when he hit floor 3, he kept up his blazing speed. Unlike the first 2 floors, however, he started ducking into side rooms, checking them for treasure chests. Or, really, just raiding the chests without hesitation, like he knew where they were all along. Strictly silver chests, too.
How's he doing that?
I grumbled. Raphael had no response, so not even he knew.
I feel like that adventurer Gaia's got this intense greed pushing him forward, you know? Like his nose can smell out where the gold is.
Ramirez's appraisal was a tad vague, but I think I might understand what she was getting at. It was clear there was nothing normal about Gaia, between this and the gruesome treatment he gave Mjolmile. Hopefully, I reasoned as I watched him sprint forward, I won't have to get involved with him much.
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.